to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I am so happy you stopped by. It has been a long time, I know. I've been busy getting things ready for school and things like that, so I'm so happy you all were able to bear with me, and thank you guys so much for your sweet comments on all my older videos. And I am back and ready to get at it again, and now it is time for the long-awaited review of the Maybelline Nudes palette. I have been playing with this and am really excited to bring you guys this review. I'm going to have swatches as well as a demo of the shadows, but the first thing I want to do is talk about this palette. So obviously palettes in the drugstore are not a common thing. This is kind of the first one, the first 12 pan palette at least, that has been on the market drugstore wise. Of course NYX has some palettes, but NYX is not available in every drugstore yet. You can find this in Walmart, Walgreens, Ulta, everywhere has this pretty much. And I also wanted to mention that Maybelline is going to be putting out, I believe it's called the Smokes and maybe the Neons, another more smoky palette like this, as well as a more colorful palette. So that'll be really exciting too. I hope that a lot of brands will catch on to this palette trend because it is neat to see that in the drugstore. If you are looking for this palette, it's $9.99 most drugstores. I picked this up at Walmart for about $9.99 I believe. Check for coupons. This past week Walgreens did have 40% off Maybelline, so this was available for $7 at Walgreens this past weekend. So be sure to look for sales and coupons, because even though $9.99 is already a good deal for a palette, you can definitely get it cheaper. Okay, so the first things I want to talk about with this palette, of course, the nice neutral range of shades this has. You can see, you guys have probably seen this in the drugstore or online, this has a really good range of neutrals. I'm happy with the neutrals. If you don't own something like the Naked palette or the Lorac Pro 1, this has a lot of neutrals, kind of like both of those palettes do. And another thing I really like about this palette is the applicator. A lot of people turn their noses up at the little foam applicators that come with eyeshadow palettes, but I actually quite like using them. And this one particularly is quite nice. It's got kind of a tapered end, and this one has a really tapered end on the left side. Over here you can see. And I think that's really great if you want to line with some shadow. This is sensitive and, or not sensitive, but soft enough that your eyes won't be sensitive to its touch. So definitely something good. I have been using the not as small side to just put some shimmery shades on my lid, and I'm pleased with how that works as well. So definitely don't throw away your foam applicators. Just a word to the wise, I really enjoy them. I think they can be multi-purpose, and I think if you use them once you'll enjoy them as well. This is definitely a palette that I would gravitate towards. You guys know I love my neutrals, and this has a lot of neutrals, and it actually has quite a bit of matte. There are about 5 mattes in here, along with a couple of satin and of course your shimmer. So really pleased with the range of mattes to satins to shimmers. You don't find a lot of mattes in the drugstore. The next thing I want to talk about, which is the most important thing, pigmentation and lasting power. Now, I never wear eyeshadow without a primer, whether that be my e.l.f. $1 eyelid primer or the Lorac behind the scenes primer. I always have a primer. So with a primer, these do last me all day. I don't find these creasing on. Definitely pleased with the lasting power. Pigmentation, I am going to show you the swatches really quickly. So here are my swatches. You can see they're not all super pigmented. Some are definitely pigmented more than others. These bronzer shades definitely have quite a bit of pigmentation, and the shimmer shades have a little bit more than the matte, some of them. But I will say, for the blendability, the pigmentation, I'm not disappointed with, just because the blendability of these is so good. Now, like I said, the pigmentation on these is not the best. It's not Urban Decay Naked, but it's also not really bad either. It's not something that is going to just knock your socks off pigmentation wise. This is not something I would ever think about taking back either due to the pigmentation, because even though some of the quality of them are hit or miss, I do find they're so blendable and they are buildable. Whether something is pigmented or not in this palette, I can build it and make it pigmented. So do know that if you have the time to build and blend, this is a good palette. If you're a beginner and you're scared of pigmentation, this is the perfect palette. I've heard a lot of people saying that, and I have to agree. If you are a new makeup user, this palette is definitely one that you should pick up. It's pigmentation is good enough that you're not going to have to work super hard at it to get a nice look. But if you do want a darker look, you don't have to worry that you're going to tap your brush in this product and get a super dark eye all of a sudden. You really have control over this product, which is something I think is good for beginner users of makeup, to have control over your products, but also to have a good product that's going to do the job so that you can learn along the way. So here's my finished eye look. Just added, of course, that Maybelline Master Kajal in Navy Night, and then a little bit of the Colossal Volume Mascara. Really simple look, but really pretty. And like I said, these shadows are so blendable that they really do make a really nice look if you have that time to blend them and to really build that color. All around, I'm not at all disappointed with this palette. I think it gives pretty looks, but again, it's not the best pigmentation in the world, but it's not the worst pigmentation in the world. The A+ for me on this is the blendability and the buildability. Both of those qualities this has, which means it's something I'm happy to have in my collection, and I don't think it'd be something that you'd be disappointed if you picked up either. I'm really liking this palette. It's definitely something that I'll take with me when I travel, something I'm happy to have in my collection, and something I'm really glad the drugstore has finally decided to up their game on. Palettes for me personally are definitely something that is a high-end item, but it's great to see drugstore brands coming out with them so that everyone can have access to palettes, not just when you have a little extra cash or it's birthday time or Christmas time. This is something that anybody can have access to and is pretty cheap. So definitely love that, and I will be out on the look for the Smokes palette, which is set to come out pretty soon as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.